Say a lot, turn me up.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Married Bunch podcast. My name is Crystal.
And this is Chris.
This is William.
Keonda.
Brianna.
Big Nick. AKA Nico.
All right, y'all. On today's episode, we are going to share the importance of friendship with other married couples and how to navigate friendships with single friends.
Hey.
Okay, so the first topic, how did the bunch friendships form?
Okay, so this is Keonda. Me and Nico, family. We cousins.
Yes.
We grew up together. Crystal, on the other hand, should I tell about how we met, my first interaction with you?
Go ahead.
So my first interaction with her, y'all, I was about to bust her head open. No, I'm just playing. So our first interaction, she was actually friends with my younger sister. And it is funny because we did meet I didn't really care for her. I was trying to, she said she was coming to my house and I was waiting on the steps for her. That's how it started.
Baby, I told her, put it on the floor, okay?
And as you can see, she's still walking, so she never made it to the house.
Whatever.
But so it's us, the triangle, me, Nico, and Crystal.
Yeah.
And when we found our spouse, that's how we all kind of met. We can elaborate.
Yeah, we can elaborate.
Well, hold on.
There's other
like
connections as well.
Like me and Chris, we grew up together too. He's a little older than me, but I used to come to his house because he had dogs and stuff. We used to run from his dogs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We used to ride our bikes through his yard, his dogs would chase or whatever. But yeah, we from the same place, so me and Chris always knew each other. We always been cool. So yeah.
Yeah, we definitely cross paths a lot. Like you said, we from the same area. I knew this guy when he was the meanest little dude ever. Gave his dad a hard time for sure, but yeah, we grew up together, so we knew each other for a long time.
All right, Bree, you want to tell the people how you came about?
I'm from the 253.
Oh, God.
Basically because of Nico was friends with the others, so it kind of connected us, and we were all friends. And we used to always hang out at Key's house, and we're just talking, having fun, and Key would do my hair, and so that's how we all got close, really.
So here we are.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, all right, y'all. So let's get down into it. Why are married friendships important, or are they?
Yeah, they definitely important. I think one reason they are important because you definitely need that likeness. Everybody on the same page, kind of, the same situation. You, like we said earlier in a previous podcast episode, that they're to support each other, basically.
Right.
Yes, I definitely think it's good to have those relationships because even though you can still have single friends, being married is a little different, that you can be in a group that understands exactly kind of what you're going through and have those conversations, because you can't really have that with a single friend because they're of course not going through that at the moment.
Yeah, they ain't gonna give you the advice that you really need or what you really need to hear. They gonna give you from the single person perspective.
Right.
But yeah, they definitely important. Definitely.
And I have found, like, within our, like, group conversations, whenever we get together, sometimes I feel like it's just me and William going through certain things. And then once we kind of talk about it, I see that they also may be going through similar things. And either they've been through it, they currently in it, and they can give us, we can feed off each other, bounce off each other.
Okay. So what about separate or individual friends? Like, let's say I have a friend that's not necessarily Chris's friend. What you think about that?
I think it's important to have your separate friends so you have your own individuality. Yeah. Because you still need to have that within your marriage, but it's also important for them to understand that you are married and that they should have a kind of start to have a relationship with your friends. I feel that's important.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important to integrate with your friends, and also piggybacking off of Tabitha Brown and her husband podcast. Kind of when you get married, if a new person's coming to your life, that's our friend. There's not going to be no separate friends.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
All right, so we all agree that married friends and separate friends are important to have, but how do you maneuver or go about having separate friends? How does that work? How does that look within a marriage?
I would say communication. I know a lot of times, me and my husband, we are together. So I can't just jump up and go. I have to plan. So I have to say, hey, communicate. This person may be stopping by, or I may be hanging out with this person. I never just drop that news to you off at the last minute. Stop playing. Why you look like that? Why you look like that? Okay.
Yeah, but I think you also have to honor the friendship in that, you have to have times where it's just you and your friend, and not just throw it on them like, oh, my spouse is coming, because that's when, that kind of a rift can start to happen because like, dang, he's always around or she's always around. So I think you have to honor the separate time with your friend, but also have to learn to merge them together.
Right.
I think the balance, just balancing it all, is important. What you think, bro?
Yeah, I think you definitely got to find that balance. Just like my wife said, you can't just get up and go or have somebody stop by the house without her knowing or whatever. But just having that single person to talk to sometimes, it just give you some advice or just give you some understanding of what's going on. If you need it, then I think that's kind of important. But for me, I really just talk to my wife.
This man don't want no friends.
I really I call Chris sometimes if I need to talk. That's my brother. I call Nico if I need to talk. Right. But my brother Ace, shout out to Ace. But I really just talk to my wife, man. Like, for real.
I gotta agree. I definitely don't have a large circle. Even when I met my wife, I didn't have a huge circle of friends. So.
Yeah, and I definitely can agree with what Chris is saying. I just had the same, people, family, like Key, Tamisha, we always together. Like I said, our friend Ashley, we was always together. So it was just always us. So we didn't ever have those, I didn't have anybody else outside of those people. So I didn't really have too many issues, thank God. So.
I mean, I agree with all y'all. I really didn't have that issue either, really, because, I mean, we're all friends. Y'all are my friends. So to have that support versus marriage and not, because we were all single when we all became friends. So, yeah, I agree.
Before I started coming around a lot, like, I wasn't used to seeing friends move like that, like the way y'all got each other birthday presents and stuff like that. Like, we didn't do that around the way.
Definitely. Yeah. And that was like, it was. I ain't gonna say it was shocking, but it was like, it was good for me to see it because now I know like, it is good people out there, and you can have like real genuine friends. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, and just to see how y'all interacted, like Chris said, when I first came around, like I always saw y'all. I'm like, dang. Like, they cool as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was dope to me. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
yeah. And a lot of people can't handle that. Yeah. So when you come into our kind of, group, we letting you into our group, you kind of just got to roll with it because we ain't going nowhere. Yeah. So get with it or get lost in my book.
Yeah, no, we locked in.
That's how we do it. Yeah. So we're going to bring you in, but you got to, get with it.
Yeah, we locked in.
Well, my experience was a little different because, like, I had some close friends, and before I met Nico and met everyone, we were with each other 24 hours. Like, we did everything together. So when I started dating Nico, and then I started hanging out with y'all, it was a huge transition for our friendship, and it kind of hurt our friendship because we didn't know how to separate. We were just so used to being together. So my experience was a little different.
Because some people thinking when you're separating it's a bad thing, but it's not. You're just bringing that other person into the fold. I feel like, that person's still around. We hanging around. We just adding more people to the group, but some people can't handle that.
Yeah, and that's true because when I came around, Nico did add me to the fold because before, like, I hung out with friends, but I'm like, dang, they together Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was like, I got to go to bed early Sunday. They trying to eat out. So, I mean, it did take getting used to, but after a while, like, I was just so used to being around them. I was like, oh, when we going down there? Or when there was fights going on, I was like, can we go too? So, got used to it.
And when I first came around too, I was real quiet, man. Like, I ain't know how to take all y'all. I'm like, I'm just gonna be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I opened up, man, and like they y'all some genuine people, man. For real, for real.
We know. That's why we still together. Friendship started back when? In the early 2000s. We still hanging in there.
Yeah, so it's like we friends, but we family. Like all of us right here, we family.
Yeah,
so.
Argue today and be talking about tomorrow.
That's true.
Most of us.
The ones that are not stubborn. But yeah. But I was gonna say like check-ins. When you are out with your friends, if y'all are separated, are you checking in? Are you supposed to check in? Is that doing too much checking in? Like, if you check in, how often are you checking in? You out with your boys.
I might send you a text here and there.
Boy, you blow me up. I'll be like, you okay? You good?
You ain't got to tell the people I blow
But I'm
you
just
up.
saying, like, I be trying to tell you.
Okay, I do. But you ain't got to tell the people. I do, yes, I do.
But I want you to know, like, what do y'all think? How many times do you check in if you out?
For me, I check in when like the plans have changed. Like for example, let's say, hey, Chris, I'm going to Ebony's house just to chill, right? And let's say after me being there for like an hour or so, if we decide to go somewhere or do something, I'll send them a text and say, hey, we going such and such place or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then on my way home, hey, I'm coming back. You and Jeremiah, have y'all ate? Do I need to bring some food? So maybe about twice, I would say.
Okay, so like not every 30 minutes, babe.
Because the thing is, you don't want to, I feel like this, you don't want to check in too much because you don't want to take away from your bonding time with your friends.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. I think more the check-in is just to make sure that your spouse is okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just concerned.
And that's what I tell my wife, like, I call, she don't answer the phone, or yeah, don't do that. but I tell her, like, I'm just trying to make sure you good. That's it. Ain't nothing other than me just checking in, making sure that you good. I'm letting you know that I'm good. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's good to check in.
Yeah, I think checking in is good. But another thing too is like, it's hard to sometimes to hang out with your single friends because you're so used to being with your spouse. So does it feel weird for y'all to be like by yourself without your spouse?
No. No. And I'm just saying because like, I just look at that like as my me time. You know, I'm checking in with my friend. We hanging out. We vibing. That's my time away from Chris. You know, not trying to be rude or anything.
That's one thing she don't play about. She got to have the me time, okay. Which I understand that though. It's it's a difference when you understand your partner. You know what I'm saying, and what's going on. But checking in, I definitely think it's important. Just respect. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of people try to downplay that check-in part, especially ones that may not be married, or even the ones that's married and may do stuff that's reckless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's about respect at the end of the day.
Right.
And like kind of piggybacking off on that, a lot of times in society, people think respect and control, like respect is control. And checking in, some people think checking in or doing stuff for your spouse is control. But like you guys, is the respect aspect of it that is important.
Right.
There you
It's
go.
just like being on the same page, on one accord.
Right.
So that's very important. Another thing we could talk about is how do you balance, you being married, you're a wife, and your time with your friends. How does that work? Like, how do you keep that friendship, that connection with your friend, while during the week, you're a wife, you're a mom, you got responsibilities. How do you balance that and keep a friendship?
I'll say for me, it's like business hours. No, I'm just playing. But no, for real. Like whenever I'm coming home, yes, I'll talk on my phone or whatever. Whenever I get ready to get in, like going into the house, unless it's like a deep, deep conversation, I most likely get off the phone and do what I got to do for the household. So that's just how I handle it. Like I'm a talker. I rather talk on the phone. There are times that, I'll go out, have a little girls' weekend or something like that. I'll go out to dinner with my friends. But as far as like phone conversations, I usually do that on the way home or lunch break. Something. I'm not good at texting, so you text me, I probably won't text you back.
Yeah, I think not only do I check in with my wife, I also like check in at times with my friends, just so they'll know that I'm okay. Check on them, make sure they okay. Because I don't want them to be like, well, I ain't heard from bruh and such, what's going on? He acting funny, this, that, and the third. So I make sure that even if I don't talk to him, I send him a text like, bro, I love you, just want to check on you, make sure everything good. Just, you know what I'm saying? So I just try to keep it like that.
Right. And I just want to add, I think we're at the point in our life where some of us are mostly used to talking every day, and that may be once a week, twice a week on the weekend. So we kind of know we're not upset that we're not talking to each other every day. We know everybody's busy. People have kids. People have jobs. So stuff is going on. So we're not getting upset. Like some people actually do get upset that you're not talking to this person every day. Right. But people got to understand we're getting older. We're married. Kids. Stuff is going on. So you can't get upset because you're not talking like that every day anymore. Right. So whenever you do talk, that's the time that you explain what's going on. How was your week? How was work? How was this? How was that? Right. So some people just need to understand that.
Right.
For sure. I definitely agree with Nico. You gotta really look at the maturity of the friendship as well, because they will understand that. You can't be 40 years old and stressing about reaching out to a friend every day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So.
With genuine friendship, you are able just to jump back into it. Like, if you're really friends, no time is going to pass when we actually get to start talking. Right. And so I think, like you said, it's kind of going off like our last episode, but like as you're growing and learning, like relationships change, and you're going to have to know how to adapt to those relationships.
Well, it's crazy you said that too, Brianna, because like when I go see my brother, I call him my brother. He my best friend, but I call him my brother. It's like we ain't missed a beat. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can jump right back into what was going on the last time we saw each other. Like, and that's how I think that's how it's supposed to be when you got real friends. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what about new friends or old friends, friends of the opposite sex? Like, how does that work?
Brianna? You talk about it.
Well, so all of Nico's friends were the opposite sex. So coming into that relationship, I was kind of like, well, who are these hoes? Okay. Nah, I'm just playing. But you know, when you start like a new relationship, you look on Instagram and he had all these pictures, and I'm like, now who are these girls to him? But as I sat back and saw the friendship and it unfolded, like I knew there was nothing there, so it helped me get through that. I guess I don't know. What were you gonna say?
That's kind of weird for, some people, but that's, my family. So we just always have stuck together, hung out, and I just grew up. That's how I grew up. A lot of people can't understand that. So I'm glad I found a female that understands that and actually see that we're just close friends, nothing more, nothing less.
That's good. Bae?
How did you feel when you came in and I was like, Nico, that's my best friend? How did you feel?
I was like, I was cool with Nico. I was definitely cool.
Now you ain't got to lie, because I know a lot of people don't feel that way.
Now how did
No, you was okay with
I
that.
was definitely cool with Nico. Like for real. But he wasn't the only friend that you had as the opposite sex.
No,
I mean-
he wasn't.
Oh, tell us
Yeah,
more.
I know. Yeah. He won't.
He wasn't.
Yeah, I know he won't. But where the other one was at now?
Well,
Yeah.
you
Tell
made a
it.
big deal
Tell
about
it.
it. You made a big deal about
Damn
it.
right I did.
So,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like a serious friendship, like Nick. You know what I'm saying? That I had to, that it was gonna bother me if I talked to these people or not. So,
It gonna bother me.
okay.
Yeah. Gonna bother me. But yeah, just cause I didn't want it. Like I didn't want you having male friends.
Okay. I get it.
I didn't.
Chris, how you feel about the whole Nico thing?
Child. Well, I will say this. When Chris and Bree kind of came in around the same time. And I remember one time Chris asked me about Nico early on. Like, who is Nico? And I was like, oh, that's my friend. We've been friends since way back in the day, since we were teenagers. And he was like, oh, okay. But this one particular incident, so it's a boy that I grew up with from church. He moved out of state or whatever, and we always kind of kept in touch here and there. It wasn't like we was always on the phone or anything like that. So we went a while without speaking, and then one day on Snapchat, he hits me up. And he's like, oh, hey, Krista, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. We talking back and forth. And he's like, he's like, send me your number. I want to talk to you. I'm going through some things in my marriage. Right? So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm thinking I'm going to go home to my husband, to Chris, and be like, hey, such and such want me to talk to him about his marriage, blah, 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 blah. And I thought he was going to be cool with it. No, ma'am, baby. No, ma'am. I mean, he was, who is that? And what you mean? What friend? And I'm like, he's out of state. It ain't nothing like that. We went to the same church. We grew up together. He was not feeling it. And I'm not going to lie. It pissed me the hell off because that's my friend. And as you can see, I'm getting a little heated about it right now. But I had to respect my husband. He was not comfortable with it, so I just, had to leave it at that. Chris, what would you like to say about it?
All right. So listen, honestly, as far as Nico, like real talk, I never had a issue with Nico. Like I never felt a certain way or anything. But dude, she talking about right now, I don't know. Like I gave straight heated vibes. I ain't like it at all. I mean, I don't know. To this day, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I was wrong partially, but I just felt like at that time, I didn't want her to be on the phone with another dude chopping it up about what he going through in his marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just didn't sit right with me. Mm-hmm. And plus, I never heard her mention dude or none of that. So it was kind of out of the blue for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with me, like the dude that my wife was friends with, like she never mentioned him in the beginning until we saw him. So when I saw him, I'm like, why you ain't never say nothing about him? So me, straight heat. Like I'm giving him straight heat. Like he tried to dap me up. I ain't even dap him up. Like, bro, nah, I ain't none of that. Like, nah, I ain't none of that, man. But like I ain't with it. I think Nico is the only one like that I'm cool with.
But she was definitely she was mad. Yeah, she was pissed at me for real.
Very.
And I was pissed
Yes,
too.
you was. Why you gotta act like that? He just a friend. Nah.
And I could think of another incident with a whole nother male friend. He reached out to me and was like, oh, blah, 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 let's go on a double date. Meaning him, his girl, me, and Chris. It wasn't like, hey, Crystal, meet me for lunch. He said double date. I come back to this man right here and say, hey, a friend that I went to high school with, he wants to go on a double date, just out to eat or whatever. Shut it right on down. So he won't feeling it. So Nico, you lucky.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the trust.
Yeah.
I'm just the type. Listen, like I'm a laid back dude. Like, and it take for me, even when I met y'all, you know what I'm saying. It took me a minute to, really just be comfortable around y'all, cause I don't really rock with. It take me a while to get in tune with people and really rock with them for sure. So I ain't never been the type to just jump in. When it come to people. So, but growth is everything.
Okay, so growth is everything.
Definitely.
So now where we all are in our marriage, if
No
your
new
spouse,
friends. Nope. No.
so okay, you at work and it's a friend that's a female. Do you think I would be upset about you you introduce her to me? Do you think, like, be honest, do you think that I would be okay with that?
You probably would. You probably would. You'll probably be like, well, yeah, I want to meet her, whatever. Let's go out. She got a boyfriend or a husband. Let's go out. But on the other hand, me being cool with you meeting somebody new, I ain't having it.
Okay.
I'm
Do
just
y'all
being
think I
honest.
would be cool with that? Y'all that know me, know me.
No.
Thank you. I would not be cool with that.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No.
I think it's totally different when it's new friends because you don't really know their intentions.
Right.
So I think any new friends will be kind of skeptical.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I said, we said earlier, with new friends is our friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
So especially of the opposite sex, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in finding married friends, and which is hard to find friends when you're older anyway. But when you can find, a married couple that's doing their thing and stuff like that, and getting to know them, it's a good thing. Shout out to Brian and
Oh yeah, because
Lysandra.
I'm about to say Brian.
Brian and
Yeah.
Lysandra, they're our friends. So we found them
Yeah.
after we got married. And it's a great thing when you can find a couple that's trying to, get the same goals, do the same thing and stuff like that, and add to your group of other friends.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything else you want our audience to know?
Yes. I think that people need to understand just because you're single doesn't mean you cannot have married friends or you're being left out. Like we said before, it's a transitional period and both parties are busy, but you just have to communicate and understand that, each person's in different situations and different points in their life. So it's important to understand that.
Anyone else? All right, y'all. So we're going to wrap this up. We want y'all to comment below. Tell us what you think. Can married people be friends with single people, or can married people have friends of the opposite sex? And remember, the wedding is only the beginning.